gets this right back, Charlie, definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on. You always just have to when like defenders have been given like. Happy Friday, folks. People deluded. I'm back again. Hope you're all doing well and safe. Appreciative to having you lot tuned in each and every time, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing with Amazon Prime. If you're on Twitch, YouTube, please do me a favor. Make sure you're commenting, you're subscribing, you're smashing the like button now. We've got a big game, to say the least, on Sunday. You know, we can moan as much as we want about the Newcastle game or be as optimistic as we want in the second leg. Been there, done it now. It is what it is. And we've got the FA Cup. Us and United are the most successful teams in the competition. I think I speak for every Arsenal fan where you hate losing to Man United anyways, you know, but they're fans. They do a lot of this. We've all got Manchester United friends and family, and you don't want them to add another, you know, you just don't want them to punch us in our gut. This week has been deflating. This season has been ups and downs. I actually think more downs than ups. And then it's a mixed bag because I do think there's a false sense of security. I do think there's a superiority complex with some Arsenal fans, because some Arsenal fans will just, you know, it's all doom and gloom. But then you've got the toxic positive guys that, you know, can see the evident areas of concerns, can see the writing on the wall, which has been there since the Wolves game, but will just say, oh, you know, they'll say, oh, it's our first loss in 13. It's our first defeat since April 2024 at the Emirates, which is true. It shows you that we have raised the standards. We have got better as a club, because we are complaining and we sit second. We're still technically in the League Cup. And, you know, I don't think we're going to turn that around against Newcastle, but it could happen. You beat United, you keep your FA Cup dreams alive. And until it's mathematically impossible that you can win the Premier League, you have to keep fighting. But it does feel like we've gone through a lot as a football club, got ourselves to this point. And just where we need to make minor improvements, you know, in my opinion, that will make the world of good, you know, fine margins as those that work for Arsenal Football Club, whether it's Arteta or the players speak about. We address that and we're gone clear, man. I think I speak for every Arsenal fan on the best of days. You want more squad depth. You want solutions in midfield. You want solutions and long-term options on the left-hand side. You want us to be a team that, you know, has Bukayo Saka, but, you know, Saka's our post. You know, if Saka's not there, which he hasn't been, we're in trouble. So it is what it is. And, you know, you've all seen the David Ornstein links and all of that stuff. We're going to get into it. But where Kvaratskhelia is concerned of Napoli, I don't necessarily think it's the profile Arsenal need, but the guy is wavy. I'm a big fan of his. You're seeing Liverpool that are well stocked with attacking options getting involved. Newcastle got Anthony Gordon, who walks into our team. They're trying to get involved in that. Chelsea got more players, let alone wingers, than we can count. They're getting involved. And, you know, the one luxury I'll say to Arsenal, I don't know if you're dotting I's and crossing T's and a transfer is taking place as we speak. But for me, as an ignorant fan that can only comment on what I see, it don't look good, because I think it's unsustainable. I'll be real. With the amount of injuries, with the current playing squad, assuming there's no injuries and suspensions, we're running them into the ground. And I do think it's self-inflicting errors which go back to the summer. Yeah, you can say we've been dealt a harsh hand with injuries, which is true. But we've been here before as Arsenal fans. Last season was probably the first year you could sit there and say, okay, we had a clean run. I tried, Aaron, man. I tried. I'm just going to call him KK. I tried to pronounce it right, man. I tried. Allow me. Pronunciation, please. Allow me. I tried, bro. I tried. But yeah, man, I think it's self-inflicted from the summer. Like, we finished 2 points off City. There's no way you could have looked at the transfer window and thought, yeah, we've improved as a squad. I like the signing of Calafiori. I think he can grow into a real good player. He's still only 22. He's one of the youngest in the team, excluding Lewis Skelly and Ethan. I don't think Moreno's a bad signing, but I think he is someone that should have been an accessory. You should have signed a number 8, in my opinion, or someone that, where you look at Odegaard, Partey, and Declan Rice, our best midfield trio, someone that could either take Rice's place, even though I'd play Rice, or looks like the long-term option or can put pressure on Thomas Partey's spot. We didn't do that. Didn't sign a winger beyond Raheem Sterling, which was a relationship of convenience. Our sporting director, Edu, came out and said we didn't plan to do that. flaffed around in the goalkeeping situation, save face with Neto. There's no way you could have looked at that transfer window and thought was going to do what we was doing. If anything, it was just ignorance, incompetence, or naivety. You know, you assumed Kai Havertz's form of the second half of last season would continue. You'd assumed we wouldn't get no injuries and stuff like that. And, you know, we've been slapped in our face. You can't stand in the rain and complain you're wet. And this season, I think the theme of the season has been fix the roof while the sun is shining, because there's been certain games we've won. And I personally think I've been very consistent on my platform with the evident areas of concern. Of course, the climate around the club is negative right now. We're losing games. We're losing pace in the Premier League. Everybody wants to sit down and speak about this stuff. And I'd say the bitter pill to swallow for me is there's actually a lot of positives about the club, but we're fumbling it. You know, I know it's easier said than done, but you look at our two previous title challenges, yeah? You look at the 2022-23 season, where I think people look at it with rose tints. The football was amazing. It was orgasmic. Take that, take the defensive solidity of last season and mesh them together. We've stagnated, you know. Again, success is not linear. It's not just upwards. We've hit a roadblock. And I said in the summer, I personally think we either go up the levels or there's regression. And there is. We're nowhere near our regard. I don't care what the clean sheet says, clean sheet stats and all of them metrics. I know we're a good defensive side, but compared to the standards we've set in that regards, we've dropped off a cliff. You know, every goal is avoidable. Every goal is cheap. But how many cheap goals, you know, have we conceded? People not following runners, not marking properly, getting caught flat-footed. You know, there's several phases where you break down a goal. In the attacking sense, clearly we're not that good. I love the corners, corner boys in the building. But if we're not creating from open play, we're in issues. And for me personally, in isolation, I like the fact that if you can't go down the left, go down the right. You can't expect a team from minute 0 to 90 in the Premier League for 38 games to just go gun-ho, mad aggressive, all of that. But the issue for me is, as I said, I like it, the patient play. Can't go left, down the right. It just doesn't go up the gears most of the time, whether we're winning, losing, or drawing. It don't go up the gears. We throw a lot of jabs and not quite punches. So, and I'd say the biggest pill for me to swallow is the last 3 seasons, or I would even say last year, the big one, because I think we should have won it last year. I think the first year, cool, we didn't expect that. We fumbled it for ourselves. Before you look at what Liverpool are doing right now, what City are doing, you have to look internally. If I could sit here and say we've exhausted all our options, we've addressed all the areas, we've married the depth, we're improving, and a team was better than us, which obviously they are, then fair enough. But we shoot ourselves in the foot. Now, Mikel Arteta and the players, I don't doubt you lot want to win the Premier League. I criticize how we're going about it. And you lot have fumbled it. The players, you lot are going to have to live with it in May. Some of you will never, some of you have won stuff away from Arsenal. Some of you, like Saliba, possibly Saka, will go elsewhere one day and go win stuff. Some of you have won stuff in your careers at other clubs, but none of you have won significant trophies together. And some of you, this is the best gig you will have. You lot have to live with the regret. It's you lot playing week in, week out, buying into it. And the manager, it's you lot buying into this. It's you lot that's playing. It's you lot that have to see the conversations. It's you lot that will retire one day. Before you know it, your career's done, you know. Your career's done. Even me as a 29-year-old, I'm seeing Wayne Rooney, Carrick, Lampard, Thierry Henry, Vieira, man, are becoming managers. Time moves quick. The days are long. The days are long. The years are quick. And it's you lot that's going to have to live with that regret. Now, the ownership, I can't say you haven't spent money, because you have. And I think the last 2 seasons, I can't look at the cronkies as to why we didn't win the league. It's purely on the footballing front. But where I look at the mentality, like any organization, it comes from the top bottom, right? People, smash the like button and let me know if I'm talking nonsense. I could understand if you said, you know what, Arteta, I've given you a lot of money and half the players you're buying, you need to upgrade. We're tightening the purse strings. I can hear that. But the minute we got 2 years back in the Champions League, rightly or wrongly, the manager's been given a new deal. Look at the transfer market. The club, like those above Arteta and the playing stuff, the man don't want to win a Prem. They don't want to win a Prem. And I'm not saying you have to buy 3 players on 100 million. They don't want to win a Prem. Some of these issues we've been talking about forever. And for these 20-odd Premier League games we've played, however much in the Champs and the Prem, in the Champions League and the League Cup and all of that jazz, nobody has woken up and found new issues. We've been talking about the injuries. We've been speaking about relying on certain players and not being able to cope with the Bukayo Saka absence. We've been speaking about the left 8. Been speaking about that whole left-hand side for about 2 years. Been speaking about the right-hand side. Been talking about creativity if Odegaard's not there, which... Boy, the way you're moving, Odegaard, you came back from your injury on fire. You've gone off a cliff and you're the captain. I'm not drawing you out, but you're the captain. I'll be real. I'm seeing Declan Rice in the last 2 games create a lot more than you. What's going on? And for Mikel Arteta, I understand how football works. You can't just have a striker standing up there. You need, if a defensive midfielder's got to be good on the ball, you know, your 10 has to be able to win duels. But we're overcomplicating it. Martin Odegaard's expected to win duels. Declan Rice is expected to split the lines. It's not mathing. It's not making sense. Fair enough, though, man. Fair enough. Smash the like button, folks. Arteta in phase 5, but he moves like he's in phase 1 in January transfer because Kara, world-class winger, only 67 million. At the same time, we desperately need an elite left winger, but Arteta let PSG get Kara. To be fair, the KK move, Romano is saying that PSG are offering him 4 times his salary. I hear it. I don't necessarily think he's the profile. I don't think his numbers are the best because I don't want to sound like a hypocrite and say we need a man that's going to bag goals. He hasn't really done that in Italy. But for me, I think he's got... you see me make videos about him. I think the man's amazing. I think on the left-hand side, what do they call him? Caradonna. I think he's a baller. And where you see 70 million shouts and, you know, if Newcastle can get involved, we can get involved. Because all we hear is this PSR crap around Newcastle. They're finding a way to make it work. We could get involved in that. Chelsea, I don't mock them for going and signing players, but they got more players than you can count, especially in wide areas. Pedro Neto, Mudryk, Sancho, you know, Cole Palmer can play out wide, and Konku is in and about. There's bare players. They're involved. Liverpool, I won't say they don't need attackers. You'd have to speak to Liverpool fans. But if anything, if you look through that Liverpool team, one place they're well stocked is attackers. Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz, Jota, Salah, Gakpo. I'm probably missing out someone. The Curtis Jones, the Elliots, they can play in certain positions. They're getting involved, and we're not. What's going on? And then cool. If you don't get KK, just make sure come the end of January someone's there. You know, just make sure someone's there. Because again, if we want to do this fighting for the, you know, get in Champions League football, get into a semi-finals of a League Cup, respectable account of ourselves in the Champions League, you know, running the Premier League race all the way, but not getting over the line, we've got enough. But we walked into this season saying the gloves are off, talking about fine margin. You see, if you want to win the Premier League, you need to have more answers than you have questions. And we've got more questions than answers. You know, Saka's got the numbers. Who's putting up Saka numbers on the left-hand side? Who's putting up 50% of that? Who's performing when Saka has an off day? What about the depth for the squad? You want to compete for 4 competitions, but look at the level, look at the size of the squad. It's not good enough. And even when you look at it, I don't, you know what, Kai Havertz, I can't ask anything more of you, you know, because you shouldn't have been bought by the club anyways. I think you've overexceeded a lot of expectations. I actually think you pull your weight a lot more than other players. I think you're quite limited, but 9 times out of 10, you bring something. I think you're okay for the squad. You're not a level raiser. Some of you were saying don't buy a striker because we got Kai Havertz. You need to know who is getting 20-odd goals. You need to know your winger is getting double figures for goals and assists. You need to know what's going on the left-hand side. You need to know that you've got 1-2 players on the bench that can step up. You need to know you've got that 8. Because look at our midfield. Partey's probably been one of our best players this season. He's leaving at the end of the season probably. You know, Declan Rice, you're playing him as an 8 and he's given a good meal of it. And I'm all for that. Teach my man new tricks, make him a more complete midfielder. But give or take, excluding Rodri, he's one of the best 6s in the world. He never got England caps, signed for 100-odd million, our record signing, Conference League winner, however many appearances in the Prem for his passing. He's there to be a box-to-box man, breaking up play, etc. Now, of course, the way West Ham will deploy their 6 versus how we are is very different. But what are we doing here? What are we doing? And even the internal things, I used to think I knew we were going to get X amount of clean sheets. And again, the defense is not just on the defenders. The whole team's ethos around defending. Last season, they gave me the mentality that they would want to die before they lost a game. They want to die before they keep a clean sheet. Now it's too easy. People are not following runners. I'm not saying the players are not trying. People are not following runners. People are not marking. People are not rising to the occasion. People are looking nervous. I'm not going to sit here and say the players don't care, but as an ignorant fan, where's the pride in the shirt? Where's the pride for yourselves? Where's the pride in we want X amount of clean sheets? We want to score X amount of goals. Too many times we are dropping points and teams don't have to play necessarily amazing. And we're meant to be, you know, everyone wants to talk about the best team in 2024 and that. Big up Newcastle. Great loss on Tuesday. Can't fault them. But they just had to be competent. I know it's coming out that Isak's got a hamstring injury, but taking off your star striker, probably the best performing striker in Europe at the moment, 60-odd minutes in. Gordon, making it too easy. People should be leaving the Emirates, or if we travel to their ground, bloody hell, we had to be at our best. We got away with one. Arsenal took us to the levels. What did Eddie Howe learn about his team based on the Arsenal game? He knew his team want to end their trophy drought. They want to win trophies, and he's got a bunch of players, but he didn't learn nothing. He didn't learn nothing. And my frustration is whether we win, lose, or draw, it's the same things I find myself talking about. You know, if a team is half competent defensively and they 2 banks of 4, compact, rigid, 4-5-1, whatever, we can't break that down. We're already in trouble. We know we ain't got Saka, Ben White, and Odegaard ain't got that. So the right-hand side is irrelevant. The left-hand side, I don't know what's going on. It's like if you lot think about all your best sweet. Imagine I've got a plastic bag, yeah. In fact, imagine this plastic bag, yeah. This plastic bag, yeah. Stay with me now. This plastic bag that I've got here. Whatever your favorite sweets, fruits, treats, whatever example, yeah, throw all of them in there. Now close your eyes and put your hand in there and take one out. Now close your eyes and put it in again. That's how Arsenal's attackers are. It's a random box of sweets. You don't know what you're... And the fuckery thing is, pardon my language, it's the experienced players, you know. It's the experienced players that you don't know what you're getting. It's lucky dip. You don't know what you're getting from Gabriel Jesus, from Trossard, from Kai Havertz, well, we just know Martinelli's going to be shit. I love the guy, but don't know what he's getting. You can't go in to fight for a Premier League with them unanswered questions there. And don't get twisted. The players need to rise up. But Mikel Arteta, you've built the squad. This is your squad now. Whether you bought these players or they were here before, like the, you know, whatever, they're here. This is your squad. So what are we doing? It is what it is. Morning, DGKK would be a great signing, but we need another centre mid as well. I hear it, man. From what I've been reading, PSG have done a lot of groundwork into the Cara deal, and he's agreed the deal. Maybe that makes Bacola available. But I swear Luis Enrique likes Bacola. I'm having Bacola, but it's going to take a lot of money. He's finally, I don't know about now, but he's had a good start to the season. I'm sure they want a big squad. Why would they let him go? Because now when you deep it, yeah, they're already starting the BS. You know, the BS around our football clubs already starting. Where you look at the PR and the journalists, and let's be real, the journalists that seem to kind of be in with the club, you'll get what you're getting told. Summerting. It's all happening in the summer. We get to the summer, no doubt we'll make signings, but then you hear this one weren't available, that one weren't available. It's excuses. It sounds good in jest. You either go for the household names, Nico Williams, Lookman, Kudus, all them ones there, or you go and find players. Because we all know, I'll be making content sitting here and talking with you lot. Certain players that we're not talking about right now, you'll see them in the thumbnails of my videos. We'll be saying we need to go and get them. There's always stars. And I always say, unless we're a prime Arsenal invincible side, unless we're, you know, prime City, any prime team there's been, and they've got them attackers, then I might fall for that. Oh, there's no one that can improve us. Really? There's no one that can improve us with this playing state right now. Okay, fair play. Yeah, man, it's gone, bro. You can't compete with PSG, bro. Luis Enrique tweeted him up. One of you said they've done the groundwork. Romano said they're offering him 4 times his salary. Arsenal not going to do that. It's done, bro. It's done, man. Salute, DG. Because of you, I randomly say isms and schisms. My girl thinks I'm going crazy. Big up yourself, man. Big up yourself, man. I big up Donna. Man said you can't stop the rain. This guy's a fool, man. Make sure you subscribe to him. Big him up, man. Big him up. It's cool, though. You know what? F it. Sunday, certain teams are getting slapped. When you, man, come to the Emirates, you're getting slapped. I've got nothing else. We're also looking poor in corners. Bro, the corner thing, it can't, like, we can score from corners and that, but create from open play, be bad boys from corners. Because when the corner thing ain't working, what else is going on? I'll be real. Where it comes to Arsenal at this moment in time, Nicholas Hover, Lewis Skelly, Ethan, Bukayo Saka, Saliba, Gabriel, Nicholas Hover. You see you lot. And I might be missing out 1-2 names. See you lot. You lot can't ask nothing more from you lot, you know. You're doing what you need to do. And obviously Gunnosaurus and all of them. You lot are doing your jobs. You're doing everything you need to do. I can't ask anything more. I think people are a bit harsh on Declan Rice. Can you give me more? Odegaard, can you give me more? Martinelli, try in it. Can you give me more? Trossard, you've been shit all season. Let's be real. You nicked it for us against Aston Villa. You've been shit all season. Can you give me more? Kai Havertz, I think you're pulling your weight a lot more than certain other members of the team, which is probably a problem if Kai Havertz a reliant player like that. Can you give me more? I don't think you can, but can you give me more? Moreno, can you give me more? Even though I think people are harsh on you. I'll be real. Even though I said Saliba, Gabriel, and I need to also extend that to David Raya. I'll be real. You three, I think we've been a bit shaky in the last few games. Can I get more from you lot? Timber, you're doing your thing. You switched off for the Gordon goal. Can I get more? In fact, you think you're doing your thing. Because, you know, discipline hurts, you know. As I said, the days are quick, the years are long. When you lot sit there in May and you haven't won a trophy, it's you lot that's going to have to live with it. Of course, I'm going to have to live with it as a fan. I'll be a fan way after Mikel Arteta and these lot. But it's you lot are the ones training, you know. It's you lot that are, got the brotherhood and all those sort of things. You lot don't want it enough. I'm being harsh, but you don't want it enough. You don't. You either don't want it or some of you ain't got it. Some of you haven't got that nastiness. And I'm not saying you need to be a prick. You haven't got that. When life is throwing you lemons, trying to make lemonade, just falling. It is where it is, man. So to a degree, you have to mentally check out. You lot said I'm being I'm negative and this and that. When I saw the summer, I said, yeah, listen, I hope we win trophies. I'm gonna ride the highs and lows. Obviously, if we win, I'm excited. If we lose, it is what it is. I had to check out. And I would say with the club, me normally, it's not that I'm pessimistic. It's that I always say there'll be a day I genuinely believe, or I hope so anyways, Arsenal can win trophies and do things. But as I said, there's more questions than answers. If these questions were answered, then yeah, I would. But it was, of course, just watching Arsenal in the last 2 years, exclude this year for a sec. Even the most pessimistic of Arsenal fans that's got question marks, you can't say the club is not in a better place. We haven't got something. When you're seeing the fans unite, you're seeing what Arteta is doing. We've come a long way from back-to-back eighth, which is great. That project rebuild done now. Get over the line. It's hard not to, be excited about things. And for what? Breaking transfer records for what? Having these great defensive, all these great metrics. Even now, where we're kind of, quite frankly, bitching, we're second and there's still certain positives. What is it for, though? What is it for? What is it for? Because at the end of the day, you got one loss in 13. Newcastle got their first win at the Emirates since, I believe, 2010 or 2013, one of them. What is it for? Because for every positive stat there is, in the 20 games, you drop points in 9 of them. How many points have we dropped from winning positions? How many times have we cheated ourselves? Yeah, there's been red cards and all of that jazz. You lot don't want it enough. You either don't want it or you can't fight. You lot would like to, and I'm talking for the whole club, you'd like to win the league. It's not keep. I think the players and Arteta, fair enough. You lot, it don't keep you up at night that we ain't won a Premier League in 20 odd years, that you've had a golden opportunity. Fair enough, 2023, you didn't expect that. It is what it is. Last year, we should have won. That's a missed opportunity. This year, we should at least be making more of a meal of it. And I said it in 2022, 23. I said it last season, saying it this year. If Arsenal find themselves, quote unquote, competing next season, I will say the same thing again. It does feel like if you don't win the Prem now, you're never going to do it. There's a golden opportunity. And I genuinely think the club, I'll be real. I personally think the club, you lot didn't expect to be in this current climate in the last 3 years. You lot didn't think this. All that phase crap is out the window because you found yourself fighting for a title. Whether Liverpool win the league or not, do you think they care? Obviously, they're in phase. I hate this whole phase thing that, you're seeing it with every fan now. But you don't think Liverpool are clearly in phase one under Onslaught. The man probably ain't even taken off his shoes yet. He's just got to the Liverpool door. You think they care? The players care about phase one and that? You have a chance to win a Prem. Whatever happens next season and beyond is the next thing. You think I want to agree with Patrick Vieira? You think I want to agree with Patrick Vieira? But in life, you can't always look at the messenger. You have to look at the message. It is always a next season thing. It is. It's always contexts and, explanations as to why we haven't done what we need to do. And a lot of people are dishonest because you big up the team, big up the manager, big up the players, waffle about all these stats. And then there's always paragraphs as to why things haven't been done. It is what it is. Our title rivals going for and remember when we went out of Bayern Munich, what did you see from all of those publications? When we lost to the Champions League, when we lost to Bayern Munich in the Champions League last year, what come out? The hierarchy recognized we need players with X factor. Who fucking came in the summer with X factor? I like Calafiori, but you could play devil's advocate and say was another left back needed. I'm not against Moreno, but you needed to bring him and someone that really challenges the midfield options, the 30 midfield options. Is there X factor? Is Raheem Sterling X factor? Yeah, Raheem Sterling, Gaza, we want it to work out. It's better than nothing. Myth. Absolute myth. So how can I look at that? It's too much naiveties. We're looking at winning the Premier League. If you've ever, it's a Mighty Ducks thing. It's Mighty Ducks. It's Coach Carter where it's great, but ultimately you don't get where you need to. And we're spending money for what? For this. Because the clothing range is still coming out. That's consistently good. Is what it is, man. PSG are already deep with the Cara deal. Maybe we are waiting to opportunistically snatch and grab Bacola. Where's the book? Are we getting linked with Bacola? T-shirt fire. I appreciate that. It was going many years ago from Kick It Out, man. That's what I done today, man. We have dropped off a cliff. However, 80% of the team is solid. The club needs to fix the front line, and we could have a very serious team. If we do not, our team could fall and big players may jump ship. I mean, bro, if you're saying we know on the Arsenal, God, we could win Champions League, we could win Prem. Saliba still busting out to Real Madrid. So what are we doing with this? And I know the players want to win it. And all of the guys that cut excuses, the manager keeps sitting there and saying the stats are good, we need to win a trophy. The captain says it. Saka keeps coming out and saying it's not nice finishing second last 2 years. Obviously, England, I've got to 2 finals. Saliba keeps saying I want to win a trophy because I want to win it at Arsenal. Then he also says to be recognised as the best centre half in the world, man, I have to win trophies. Jorginho, old head, done it all. Trophies. Everybody says it. The only ones that ain't come out and said anything because they haven't been interviewed is Ethan and Lewis Skelly. And it's the young players that have filled me with any pride. Against Brentford and Brighton, it's them man there. People that are 17, 18, they look like they are built for this. And I'm not criticizing my players because I know you lot want it. Last season, when things went left, I saw 11 players wanting to make a difference, wanting to be the protagonist. Now I'm seeing people pass the block. It's like we're looking at someone else to sort things out. It is where it is, man. Bro, these guys need to watch Dragon Ball Z or Rocky or something and learn from the great ones. I swear the way it is right now, even a Bruce Lee marathon ain't cutting it. And going back to this, do I think we've got, in terms of the starting 11, I agree with the 80% thing. I just say for me, clearly need depth. And I think it comes to quality as well. Like I think I don't think we've got bad players, but we've got players that certain man are squad players at best. You can come in and do a job for 5-10 games or off the bench, but we're looking at you to be a recognized starter, and then we're surprised that you're not getting over the hill. People been saying Arteta has more power than they do in the club, and it's showing recently a rookie at the game having this much power. Again, I like Arteta, but there's a lot of faults, and for someone that's inexperienced, shouldn't have this much power. The Cronkies have struck gold. They're probably looking at my man like he's Arsene Wenger. He's happy to, it's a relationship of convenience. He's got a new deal before a ball's been kicked. He's getting to learn the tricks and trades of the game. And I'll tell you, you've done a lot of good stuff for us. The Cronkies found their long-term solution. We know they are going for this model with the young managers that can grow. They're cool with that. But we'll be here again. The bullish chat. There's too much talking. You can lie to people some of the time. You can't lie to people all the time, man. Saka done his thing, man, but one man. I wouldn't say Bacola's a bum. I'm coming round to the fact that Arteta isn't the man to get Arsenal over the line. Therefore, is there any point in buying more players for him? Reset with a new manager needed. I hear that, and I'm not saying keeping or sacking Arteta is going to guarantee failure or success, but the new manager, then we're going to have to go back to square one. Yeah, you can say there's a good bunch of players, but we don't know what the manager wants. What if the manager wants to play 3 at the back and because of the system, certain man can't play? What if he walks in and decides, regardless of Declan Rice's fee, I don't want Declan Rice. I don't care about Saka. I'm exaggerating, but I don't want these guys. So you're going to have to strip it again. And then, yeah, I can't blame the Cronkies for us not winning the league last year or being whatever, because I do think a more experienced manager might be a bit more cute and clever in certain moments and get over the line. But we've had Emre, we've had Wenger, we've had Arteta. What's been the one consistent? We haven't won a league. So how much is going to change under the ownership? How many games season after season Nelly was 1v1 with defenders and we hope something happened? Sign a left winger, send Nelly to the bench. Arteta needs to be more ruthless. I'm a Liverpool fan. We need to sell Nunes, but yes, we need a LB, DM and centre back even more. It's true. And to be fair, I don't know why you lot are. Maybe it's a market opportunity that Liverpool find far too good to turn down and they want to get KK. But I personally feel, I wouldn't say Liverpool fans, because you lot are quite consistent with FFG, getting at him and getting at them and whatnot, but because of the way Liverpool are flying this season and what they're doing, I don't think enough is being said about the wider community about FSG. I think they've shot Arne Slot in the foot. You got a half-fit Chiesa, which is clearly struggling with fitness. And I personally, when he's been fit and not playing, I don't think Arne Slot wanted him. I don't think he rates him. 3 of the best players for a new manager. 3 of the best players' contracts are running down. And Liverpool fans, even when they've won Prems and Champs and that, they've complained. Liverpool fans have complained about their depth. Oh, man. Even 700 million spent over 5 years. How much squad turnaround has happened in the last 5 years? Point is, Kroenke aren't ambitious enough to push us over the line. Even me with the whole 5 years thing, yeah, I kind of break it down because I do think we've spent a lot. Not that I care if we spent a lot or less or more than other people, but I do think there was different priorities. Clearly, we needed a front line, but you need a spine of the squad. You need to fix the midfield. You need to fix the defense. Arteta's got a lot wrong, but he's got a lot right, and we've got to that point, right? I would say in the last 3 years now is where I'm being very harsh. Like these last 3 years and last season in particular, that's when I'm really like, okay, stuff needs to happen. Now I'm really scrutinizing the bang for our buck. What is going on? 7 goal contributions in 19 games in minutes for Nico Williams isn't bad, considering the attackers he's playing around. He's above their level. One failed transfer who's not fully failed is enough to stunt this project. Then we weren't serious to begin with. Bro, everyone hates on Rashford, but if someone actually coaches him, he'd be mental. The thing is, I said this before and I'll say it again. If Arsenal sign Rashford, prove me wrong, Rashford. Prove me wrong. And I want anyone who plays for this football club, whether I think they're a good footballer or not, to succeed. Because obviously, I'm happy. I'm a fan, right? Why are we signing Rashford? Why? And I don't think we are, because I don't think you're going to pay whatever Man United want on a permanent. Rashford's going to have to buck up his ideas and tone, not that I care how much a man gets paid, but you're not getting them wages there. And obviously that's going to have ramifications on any Saliba or Saka or whoever key players contract renewal. And if you're trying to bring key players, people can sit here and say, oh, Mikel Arteta can work with him and this and that. I hear that Mikel Arteta has done a lot of good stuff, but what is this fascination with always wanting players that are down on their luck, seeing if Arteta can turn, can paper over cracks with them? It don't make no sense with Rashford. There's too many unanswered questions. Do I like the illusion of Rashford? 1,000,000%. If I type in Rashford on YouTube, he scored some great finishes. I like Rashford as a footballer. I like him as a guy. He's man them. You get it. I want him to succeed, just not at our football club. You've already got Raheem Sterling, where everything man are going to say about why we should sign Rashford, they said about Sterling. It ain't happened. We've already got players that are being carried. Are we trying to be a rehab center or a football club? There's no guarantee Rashford is going to impact us. He's not even in the match day squad for United. How fit is he? Then he's going to have to buy into Mikel Arteta's tactics. Rashford has never done, even when he's had those great goal scoring seasons, he's never really done it across 90 minutes. He's never really done it for 38 games. And I don't like to talk about a man's business because I don't know Rashford as a person, but all this off-field crap, it's a myth. Forget all of that. Forget that, man. I don't think Rashford's bad, but forget the captain saver whole thing. Facts, but he's not gone completely. Sure, he's not even my 10th best target, but he's a good player, not bad. Funny how at the beginning of the season we wanted to sell Partey. I wasn't with that. And imagine we sold Partey. If Arteta goes, think we'll be good, or else nothing will be done. He buys very poor players and he's arrogant. Don't want to be told that his problem, apprentice coach. I mean, every manager is arrogant. I'll never get a man for being arrogant in it. You need to be have a level of arrogance, but it's just about, for me, and this is just my thoughts, I think, Arteta, you've done all the hard work. Now it's just 1-2 things that need to be added, and you as a club ain't done that, so what we doing? But Arteta knows, realistically, we all know. You get a top 3 finish, even top 4, but top 3 finish, you at the end of the day, if that League Cup stuff ends now, you've got to a semi-finals, you go out to the FA in the FA Cup, or give a good account of yourself there. You keep running the Prem race. That's enough. We go again. People will look at all of the positives and look for the excuses, and we'll just go again. We've been here time and time again, man. They literally buoyed us. They really took off their best player and rested them for a bloody Bromley in the FA Cup. Probably a harder game than us. Again, facts. DG, this season could get really dark. The way we're attacking, we're relying on Havertz, Trossard, and Nelly. By next week, our season could be wrapped. We're not winning the champs. If we don't sign, no, I'm supporting Palace, my local. No, I'll always support Arsenal, but it is what it is, man. I would love Kudus, but dream chasing, man. Hearing Ornstein basically saying we can't do anything serious because of financials was heartbreaking. Again, then they've clearly briefed him, and then you fucked up the bag then. Because I can moan about the Cronkies and that. What we can't do is act like we ain't spent money. Arteta's fucked up the bag in the last 2 years then. And then it's completely hypocritical, because before that, what did we hear last week? Coming out from these same publications, the only financial limitations are the ones that Arsenal are going to put on themselves internally. If you ain't got bread for the Kuduses and all these names we're talking about, bro, go and use 30, 40 million. Go and find, I wouldn't say a project, but those talents that are waiting to explode. Are you really telling me there's not profiles that couldn't be added? If there isn't, cool. Arsenal must be looking for the next Ronaldinho and all of that. Emre's falling out with Bacola. Yo, big up. Obviously, Arsenal should try and sign K2. Serious baller. I don't think your club has enough ambition, or the right kind of ambition. Isak Gordon could just legit don't buy anyone else. Psh. Need new players. Squad has gone stale. And Osimhen, Sane or Gnabry, now forget that, man. More personality and egos that don't let the games pass without an impact. I still believe in Martinelli. But at the end, I like Martinelli. You're shit at the moment, but I like you. But realistically, you need to become a squad player. You can come off the bench, run people into the ground. You can be rotated in and out. You can't be a starter. If you're not doing starter shit, you can't be a starter. Kai Havertz, I think you pull your weight a lot more than a lot of players. You can't be a star. And some of you that are criticizing the club for not signing a striker, some of you are saying, oh, don't sign a striker. We got Kai Havertz. Where's Kai Havertz going to play? Fuck all of that. Right? Declan Rice is better in the 6, but then Partey is better there overall. I don't like seeing Rice in the 8. He doesn't have the skill set. Big up yourself, my dude, man. Salute yourself as well. It's also not like Trossard directly says this ish to the club. It's all through an agent. Listen, Trossard, squad, you and Martinelli should be on the bench, bro. Big up DG. I was watching League on live this morning and he predicted Arsenal to sign Rashford. Exclusive Arsenal have reached out to United and they value him at 25 mil. Big up yourself. Shout out Lee. But again, it's on brand. It's on brand to get linked with Rashford. It's on brand. I trust what I can see, man. I trust what I can see. Us as fans see Nelly and Trossard doesn't work at right wing. Jesus done good things right wing, but Teta looks over him. Arteta's gonna have to live or die by the decisions. You say you trust your squad and you say you have to maximize things internally. Do I think you're not necessarily happy with what you've got? 100%. Do I think the club have kind of shortchanged you in the transfer market? 100%. But at the same time, you fucked up the bag as well. Like, this manager and board hasn't learned anything, DG. How many games have we had like this past Newcastle result, especially in cup games? Too much yapping, not enough balling. Boy. I would love Warren Zaire, but dream chasing, man. Dream chasing. It is what it is. Everyone that is serious about wanting to win has entered the KK sweepstakes. So, madness, we don't. What are you saying here, FK? We don't what we need unless there's a major collapse like 2023 where we bought 4 midfielders. FFG are not serious owners. They're not. But you're finding a way to make it happen. Forget the rehab center thing. I'm not on it, man. Like, Rashford, I'll prove me wrong, but are you an upgrade on the left-hand side? Probably, but I'm already frustrated about our attacking options. Why add another one? Are you going to show us that level of commitment? Because Rashford's decision-making is still that of a child. Like, there's too much garbage around Marcus Rashford at 27 years of age. Mr. Man United, England International. I'm not on it. I'm not on it. I'm not on it. I don't care if 5 games you're going to buy into this thing and do all the pressing and that. The next 5, you're stinking up the place. I'm not, again, for obvious reasons, you want to stay clear from talking about attitude and whatnot. But Amorim, Ten Hag, Van Gaal, Jose, all of these managers at Man United, Oli, there's been some quote-unquote bust up with Rashford. He has to be the problem. He has to. Big up DG. Wish this club can show some ambition and go for Caradonna. 67 mil is a great price for a player of his quality. Remember, Champions League football can attract world-class players. They're not on saving scrubs, man. I believe Sterling was forced on Arteta. That's why he doesn't play him. You've got no, of course he's forced on him because we caught with our pants pulled down for whatever reason. Whether Edu was suggesting targets to Arteta and he wasn't taking it in, or Arteta was telling Edu and the Cronkies to do certain things and they weren't doing. Of course, it's a relationship of convenience. Got a good relationship where it comes to transfers with Chelsea because we keep dealing with them. Sterling, even Sterling is not in their plans. Chelsea are on. Making us a favorable deal where we're not paying all of his wages. We got nobodies. Bring it in. Either way, they've got to hold that. They've got to hold that. It's easy to stifle a game, though. So easy to stick 2 banks of thought and crowd the best players. These are nothing new, man. We've definitely never become Spurs, man. It is what it is, man. Big up you lot, man. City in advanced talks with 3 players, according to Fabrizio Marmoush, Victor, and I don't know who that is, but that's that centre-back from Lons, innit? I can't say his name. No, DG, this is how KSC have lowered our standards. They've never lowered my standards. A 65 million signing is enough for them to say they've spent bread. I'm not going to lie. Do I want them to be a bit more ambitious? And not quite like Chelsea's owners 100%. But we've spent bread, bro. We haven't always maximized things. We've spent bread. Like, we haven't spent as much, and we definitely need to spend. But I can't just sit here and say the Cronkies are the reason why they're a part of it. There's multi-layers. Is the reason why I've got all of these concerns on the playing front, or the reason we didn't win the league last year. Because I don't think the Cronkies are the reason we didn't win the league last year. If you know you're working with a limited budget, rightly or wrongly, make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck. At this moment, we know the Cronkies aren't going anywhere. We know how they like to operate. We know how they like to operate. And it's not the same, but Liverpool fans are not exactly happy with FSG and all of that. They've still managed to bag some trophies. It's just all a mess. It's all a mess. I mean, I can't begrudge Trossard for rejecting the first contract offer. I mean, naturally, in negotiations, in any sort of negotiations, how many of you accept the first offer? And even that, Havertz and Arteta, you've not replaced Granit Xhaka. You've not replaced his character. You've not replaced him. What are you doing there in that left 8? You've tried Havertz. It didn't bang. Fair enough, they didn't get proper opportunities, but Smith Rowe, Vieira never banged. Declan Rice, you're doing it. It's not for me. It's not. Moreno in the 8. The only reason I like Moreno in the 8 is because it means Rice plays as a 6. It's not happening. How many self-inflicting errors? How many? Warren said Liverpool are not actively seeking winger, but admire the 23-year-old. PSG have agreed personal terms with Kara. Chance of getting him are slim to none. It's a myth, man. It's a myth. It's a myth. And it is, man. Stop linking us to Isak. Would I love Isak? 1,000,000%, man. Isak signed tomorrow, bro. But it's going to cost peas. You're going to need him to kick up a bit of a fuss to leave Newcastle. And we know we're not going to get him. Like, listen, by all means, click me up. I want to be wrong. Who doesn't want to be wrong about Arsenal signing Isak? It's a myth. It's a myth. But we'll still get linked with him. It will still get clicks. It is what it is. Let's see what a couple of the talking points in the media is. As you can see, I was in a bit of a reflective mood this morning. You know, I was looking at Arsene Wenger quotes, and I would love, if someone could get message to the players, I would love them to see this, and the manager. You can escape the reality. Sorry, you can never escape the history of a club like this. At some clubs, success is accidental sometimes, but at Arsenal, it's compulsory. Make sure you're adhering to that. There's always value in the market, man. I refuse to believe that. Like, it all depends where you're looking. I don't think that. I don't, because we've been saying that for years. A football team is like a beautiful woman. When you do not tell her, she forgets she is beautiful. Big up my guy, Arsene Wenger, man. Fact. Let's see this. Now, I will say this. This Craig Hope guy is a Newcastle kind of don. You know, you look at the Daily Mail, they've got Sammy Motbell, who seems to be one of the best in the business of breaking news. So take it with a pinch of salt. And it just seems like he's hating on Arsenal. But I do think he's right in that signing Isak is a myth. It's not happening. It's not. Should have bought him when he was at Sociedad. You know, if he runs down his deal, if he burns bridges, you never know. But on the face of it, it's not happening. It's definitely not happening in January. Find the next target, innit? Arsenal cannot afford the British record transfer fee it would take to sign Alexander Isak from Newcastle this summer. Sources say Stan Kroenke is extremely unlikely to sanction a move for the 25-year-old, with the focus for now on outgoings. And I don't want to hear that, but I understand it. And for me, you can make a case of he's got 2 years left. Zinchenko going, freeing up some wages. Partey and Jorginho freeing up some wages. Nelson's on like 100K. He's probably gone in the summer. Tierney's on something like that. He's gone. So you do have more money to play around with. But what are we being briefed on? Where you're second in the league and it's austerity measures. And if we have to do all this selling, of course, some players stagnate. I don't necessarily blame Arsenal for Gabriel Jesus of today versus his first 6 months, because he stagnated. Zinchenko the same. But when it's become clear that these lot need to be squad players at best, we haven't tried to find the upgrades, or we haven't patterned it. Dead, really and truly. That's the same journalist that said we couldn't afford Declan last summer. Exactly. I don't think we can afford Isak, because I don't see us spending 100-odd million on him. Then, you know, you'd probably need a midfielder. Let's say, give or take, you need about 30 to 50 million to play around with, depending on the current stature of that midfielder. And then, you know, you probably need an inside forward as well. You probably need at least a base of 50 million to play around with. You're looking at 200-odd million. Of course, if players leave, you could also get a fee for Kivio. It's a myth, man. Hi, Deluded. Got to say, as a Georgian myself, I really don't want to see my man Kaya in a team that's not capable of winning trophies. You're hurting my feelings, man. We have Isak money, but not Kara money. See what I'm saying? We understand the Gunners will listen to offers for striker Gabriel Jesus come the end of the season, and Zinchenko can go this month. Even that, if Zinni goes this month, I'm not going to cry, but I don't think it makes sense to sell. There's bare man that could leave, but we've got a small squad. I'm not going to cry. I love Tommy Tomiyasu. You don't know this. But because of the injuries, if the club said, you know what, we're done, I'm not going to cry. If Kivio's got offers, I'm not going to cry. I loved Tierney, but I'm not going to cry. Gabriel Jesus, you can leave if you want. Bare man can leave. Partey, I don't know if you should go, but Jorginho, cool. Does any of this make sense in January, where you've got a small squad and there's illness and there's injuries? And also, it's all fun and games and great saying, sell Gabriel Jesus, sell Zinchenko, and I'm sure they want to go play football. But who's going to buy them? Yeah, you can say, oh, Saudi going to buy them. This one. Who's going to buy them? Who? Because let's just say devil's advocate. Firstly, Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko believe that they can fight for a spot in the team. Let's just say they're comfortable in London. They're on healthy contracts where they might not necessarily get them elsewhere. You know, Zinchenko's got 2 years left on his deal. Gabriel Jesus has a lot longer. The club have to move them on. Anyways, Thomas Partey's 150k a week wage is also set to be removed when his contract expires in June. While Arsenal do not have any worries when it comes to complying with profit and sustainability rules, they still have to stay within them. Really? Who knew that? And for now, that means a move for Isak is being played down by sources close to the club. Arteta, we know he's a huge fan. Nobody cares at this moment in time. Isak's camp are aware of our interests. Nobody cares about. I don't care about his camp being interested. I don't even care if Isak wants to join Arsenal, if Arsenal want to sign him. I do care about that, but it's put money down, medicals, holding shirts, grew up watching Thierry Henry. Who wouldn't want Isak at the carpet? And as much as I want Isak, is he the only striker in the world? You can't get him, cool, go find the next one. Because what's the alternative? Newcastle have a price tag for Isak. They're not budging. You're bidding for a guy that Newcastle are not going to sell for the price, assuming this happens, to come out and say we tried. And some of the fans lap up this bullshit and the cycle continues. Fair enough. If Arteta wasn't a manager, he'd be head of risk management at some financial firm. You man wasted bare cash on Havertz. Newcastle already said they won't sell Isak for less than 150, and he still has 2 to 3 years left on his contract. And Isak said he doesn't want to leave. Exactly. So it's a non-starter, man. It's a non-starter. Gyökeres, best player from Sweden. Would you rather have Isak or Gyökeres? If money weren't a thing and the evident things I've said and some of what you lot are saying, people, I would prefer Isak, but go and get Gyökeres, innit? I don't think the club are keen on Gyökeres. I couldn't tell you why. I do think they've obviously scouted him. I'm sure he's on some sort of shortlist, but I think it's more paper-led. The squad is not small at left back. Sells in yesterday. It's not small at left back, but look at all the fucking injuries you've seen. Look at all the injuries you've seen. Look at all the injuries you've seen at left back. It don't make sense. I'm not gonna cry if the club sells Zini, but I just don't think it makes sense to let these guys go in January when you've got a tiny squad. Yeah, pick up Lewis Skelly. You got Lewis Skelly. Timber can move over there. Tommy, if and when fit, if we ever see him. Listen, Zini is not high up my list, but I don't think it makes sense. Anyways, but unless there was a significant departure from the Emirates, we have been told not to expect an offer this summer. Newcastle sources insist there's no asking price for a player they want to keep at St James's Park, but it would almost certainly take a fee in excess of the transfer record 150 million Chelsea paid for Caicedo if he were to leave. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't, people. Isak's situation on T-side is not straightforward. Bearing in mind Chelsea is linked, there's more chance of him going Chelsea. He's already the club's top earner and has a contract until 2028. However, there's no doubt a player of his caliber could demand a higher wage elsewhere. For now, Newcastle are unable to improve his contract status because of PSR, but return to the Champions League, which they're in with a fight, would likely change that stance. So there you have it, man. Wouldn't want to be wrong. Would love to sign someone like Isak, but it is what it is. It's like, I'm sure all of us here would go on a date with Beyonce or Kelly Rowland, but are we going to? Who knows, man? I say who knows for me, because you lot get the subscribers up, get me in those spaces. I'll come back with something. Black David Beckham. I need my Black Victoria Beckham. I'm gone clear. But yeah, away from the silliness, Moat Bell has said, and it's a bit conflicting what Sammy Moat Bell has said, as things stand, Arsenal are likely to revive their interest in Isak at the end of the season. There was interest in Isak last summer, but it quickly emerged that persuading Newcastle to part with the player would cost upwards of 100 million. You think? A great player, one of the best strikers performing at the moment, in a day and age where, let's be honest, the striker market, we're really struggling to name 10 good strikers. You reckon? And goals win games. And they spent big money on Isak, and they're trying to have their own project. You reckon? Okay, anyways. Sources insist that following a relatively economical summer window, Arsenal are not opposed to reaching those financial levels again. Having signed Declan Rice 18 months ago, though it is likely they would need to be creative in the market to land their second 100 million player. Just go find the next one. They might not be as good as Isak, but we need a striker in it. And then when you go to this article by the Athletic people, trying to skip through the Tosh people, it's important to make clear that Arsenal were in the market for a new forward last summer. They extensively explored all viable options. For instance, recruitment staff had identified Benjamin Sesko from Leipzig. The Slovenia international certainly fit the profile at 21. His ceiling is high. Recruitment staff believed his fluid movement and physical attributes would fit in well to Arteta's dynamic and interchangeable forward line. talks ensured that Arsenal were ready to move. But during those conversations, it was made clear to Sesko he would not necessarily be joining as a guaranteed starter. Kai Havertz's excellence to the end of the season meant he was in possession of the shirt, having scored 9 times in his last 18 to finish the season with 14 goals in his debut campaign, which is great, but he didn't do it for a whole year. And I would say 2 things. Cool, I don't think anyone should be guaranteed anything. But that tells me, again, naivety. You assumed Kai Havertz's form would keep going to this season. And also, Sesko, I'm looking at you funny because, again, I don't blame you. Do the best for your development, but I don't blame you. As stupid as it would be to do this, yeah. Imagine that there was in an alternative universe where we actually could sign Isak. Imagine if Arteta said, "Yeah, we like you, but you're not necessarily going to play ahead of Kai Havertz." Isak might say, "F that, then you don't rate me," or he might say, "Well, I'm a big boy up front for Havertz." Havertz is getting disarmed for that. Sesko, if you genuinely were shook, I don't blame you for doing what's right for your development, but if you genuinely heard that, finesse him for that, man. Finesse him for that shirt, bro. Who is big up Kai Havertz, bro? Come on now. You should believe in that I can do all the stuff Arteta wants from a striker. And the difference with me and Havertz, I'm a bad boy. I'll score goals, and that's the club's naivety. But again, I guess the club have to justify. Well, Arteta has to justify 65 million on Kai Havertz. As much as football's about football, there's also a political aspect to it. You've got to justify this. You've got to play this German international on big wages, probably one of our top earners. It's not making sense. Naivety, incompetence, complacency, all of it, man. Decent numbers, though, not mind-blowing. Nevertheless, the German international's transition into a centre forward, which was an accident from Arteta, was deemed successful enough by Arteta for Havertz to start this campaign as the team's first choice. Well, we had nothing else, and then you're going to have to live or die by this. You've built the squad. Any successes, big you up. Any failures or fragilities in the team, you've got to hold that. The whole club's got to hold that. Dickhead thing, man. On the face of it, it's hard to argue against that idea. What kind of propaganda bullshit is this? But it's hard to argue with that. Big up Kai, but anyways, man, I'm going to lose my temper. It's easy to forget Havertz has already scored 12 goals this season. Big him up. He's doing a lot more than some of his teammates. Still need a striker. Just too short of last season's tally with half of the campaign left to play. Sesko, for his part, prioritized his development and informed Arsenal of his intention to sign a new contract at Leipzig rather than risk being a bit part player at the Emirates. I rate that. Do what's best for you. And intriguingly, he remains on Arsenal's radar heading into the summer. I hope you're not telling him this BS or any of these strikers is BS in the summer. There was interest in Ivan Toney, but it was eventually decided they would not pursue the England international for various reasons. What's the various reasons? Because I think they like Ivan Toney as a footballer. I don't think they like him as a person. We all know he moved to the Middle East. We all know Newcastle dealt with us. We all know at this point it's going to cost around 100 million, give or take, to bring man to the team. Having spent 200 million on Havertz, Declan Rice and Timber in the summer of 2023, Arsenal, without ever being in any real danger of falling foul of PSR regulations, had to be more mindful of their expenditure last summer. The Gunners still spent over 100 million. So again, if you have to watch your budget tightly, you have to make sure you get more bang for your buck. I like Calafiori, but apart from obviously David Raya's deal being made permanently, which one of those players is immediately putting pressure? If you imagine Arsenal's strongest 11, who of those summer signings is putting any real pressure on anybody? It's Calafiori at a push. Anywho, and turning David Raya's, well, we obviously signed Calafiori Moreno, made David Raya's loan permanent, but that was offset by the sales of Smith Rowe, Eddie Nketiah and Ramsdale, which came to a total of 70 million. With that in mind, you can perhaps forgive Arteta and Arsenal for deciding against blowing their entire summer budget on a new striker when other areas of the field also required strengthening. I hear that. But then I have to look at the language. This is what I mean. This is how you know the club is in bed with certain journalists. Look how they're trying to make it an emotional feel. I hear that. Striker thing, I wanted one. I wanted a striker and a winger. You can go back to my summer content. I think every Arsenal fan did. I think one thing Arsenal fans were willing to concede, if you bring in a striker, we want both. You bring in a striker, cool. You bring in an inside forward, great. There's no way you looked at that front line and thought it could get smoky. Goals win games. These men are not scoring goals. They can't score goals. And you add in whatever we're doing from a tactical point of view, which is not getting people in goal scoring positions. And when we do, it's about 2 real clear-cut chances a game. I don't care about how many shots. Look at how many average shots have been on target this season. You're having 2 clear chances, which, yeah, these players should be bagging. But would you bet your life on Kai Havertz scoring a 1v1? Would you bet your life on Martinelli scoring a 1v1? Because the Newcastle game, away from that, where they should have scored, and if you're going to do that, you need Isak and them, man. It's our defenders that had the best chance. Well, not the best chances, the majority of the chance. Go watch the highlights. You're seeing Timber, you're seeing Gabriel. See 1-2 header from Gabriel Jesus off the bench. Fair play. It's an idiot thing what we're doing here, man. It's an idiot thing. I don't want to see none of this, man. We scored 91 goals in the Premier League, which shows we can. But of these names who got double figures, Saka is the only one year in, year out who has showed some consistency. Trossard was doing that at the back end of last season, just like with Kai. Odegaard has never been a great goal scorer, even though he needs to bag. Martinelli's fallen off a cliff. The less said about him and Jesus, the better. Safe, man. This is just some explanation thing. And this is what we do. This is what some of those positive, toxic guys do. It's just bare paragraphs explaining. Winners win, losers explain. Close the tabs, man. I'm even tab police. I hear it. I'm even getting vexed at the tabs now, man. DiMarzio, I don't know if he's credible, people. Arsenal will try to get Isak or Osman in the summer. I don't think Newcastle will let Isak go now in January. He's difficult to replace. Vlahovic is an option and a target as well for Arsenal. They like him, so he's also on the list. Okay, that's great. As we know, Liverpool apparently are considering the signing of the Napoli lad Caradonna. As we know, things are moving, yeah. PSG look like the front runners. Chelsea have got involved. There's been some rumors of Newcastle. I would love Arsenal to get involved as well. But crucially, beyond the obvious, I just want to draw you lot to this paragraph because I think this shows the difference, whether you criticize FFG or not. Liverpool are also attentive to the situation despite being well stocked in wide attacking areas as things stand. Diaz, Gakpo, Jota, Nunes can all operate from the left-hand side. So they don't necessarily need it, but they're attentive. We are desperate. Now, I hope the club's doing something on the back burners. I don't know, though. But we all know signing him's a myth. As we know, this story is developing like rapidly as we speak. Napoli seem to be in talks with PSG around it. It's an 80 million euro package. Obviously, that's without the finances of his wages, which obviously, apparently, Romano's also said PSG are offering him 4 times his salary, which... unless you never know, he might want to go to the Premier League, but I think that rules out probably Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Arsenal ain't been involved, really. I mean, again, Arsenal got me thinking mad things. Should we have kept Marquinhos? I think he's bloody shit, bloody crap. But he's immediately headed back to Brazil on loan. He could have probably been a body. So Arteta don't rate him, and I don't believe necessarily what I'm saying. I'm desperate now, folks. Desperate. Inter Milan have been linked with Zinchenko. We'll have to see how that one develops there. Again, talking about transfers is one thing, but who the hell is our sporting director? 1 minute we hear that we want a more experienced one. We're concerned about Jason Zaito, lack of experience. Now this is coming out. Maybe the more experienced guys don't want to join us in Jan. Arsenal's acting sporting director, Jason Aito, has growing internal support to take on the role permanently. The club's ownership are said to have been impressed with Aito's work since his appointment on an interim basis and is viewed as a genuine contender for the vacancy. Okay. All right. Done now. Mikel Arteta has made Nico Williams his #1 target to strengthen his squad. Although it's far from certain the player would want to leave this month, even a summer move could be complicated by wage demands, which are in excess of 300k. Good players are going to have good fees and want good wages. It's not always going to be the pretty and perfect deal. Mbeumo's on the short list. I think that's one of the more realistic side. I'm having Mbeumo, but I've learned not to get excited with any of these deals until you see man holding scarves saying they grew up watching Thierry Henry and Adams and Bergkamp and the rest of it. We were once upon a time linked with Victor Reese. It seems like Manchester City are working on a deal to get him, people. Big up Moise. Some would say maybe Arteta should have went to Everton, but big up Moise. Sean Dyche was sacked yesterday. You obviously saw, David Moyes has been in talks. We were linked with Arojo. Barcelona seem to be involved there. It does seem like Monaco have agreed a deal for former Arsenal striker Mika Berra from Stuttgart. Diallo signed a new deal for you, Man United fan, by the way. I only care about this because Arsenal would also be due 1% of the transfer fee as part of the sell-on clause we negotiated. Now, I think he wanted to go and he needed to go. Hindsight, and he only had a year left on his deal. Stuttgart paid their club record fee for him. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. But should we have extended his contract, loaned him out, and then maybe we'd be getting the bread off Monaco? I mean, I don't think Mika Berra is the answer, but based on what we're seeing right now, I'll be thinking mad things. As I said, maybe you should have kept him and Balogun. I don't necessarily believe this because could they do a lot worse than what we've got? And you look at Stuttgart, they knew they would sell him. They're quick profit. They signed him for about 4 odd million quid. And to be fair, it's not that big of a profit because there's 30 million euros here, but big up the sell-on clause, isn't it? Big up the sell-on clause. Apparently, Aston Villa are trying to get Gittins, and they just got Daniel Marlin. We were linked with Gittins, people, as it says here. Bayern are also credited with an interest in Gittin, while the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal have closely monitored the England under-21 international, who could be on the move in the summer. Joe Bellingham, apologies, has emerged as one of the hottest young players on the market. He's been linked with Crystal Palace, Man United, and Arsenal. Apparently, he's set to turn down moves from Arsenal, United, and Palace to move abroad, according to report. Fair enough. I think he's a good player. You could be our Morgan Rogers kind of development signing. We're set to miss out on Ronald Araujo. Now, to be fair to the club, I don't think we was involved in that one. It don't make sense. As we would have seen yesterday, check out the stream I did. Trossard's apparently rejected the first contract offer for a new deal at Arsenal. What's this? The Premier League will be the most likely destination for Victor Gyökeres, but the Swedish striker does not want to leave Sporting this month. What is this? Arsenal are closely monitoring Tyree Mitchell. We love a defender in it. I mean, I wouldn't be against it. He's a free transfer and that, especially because Zinchenko, Kivio could move on. Lewis Skelly's an option there. Mitchell could be there. You've obviously got Timber who can play there and Calafiori. We've been linked with Adam Walton of Aston Villa. Probably should have got him when he was at Blackburn. Arsenal is still being linked with Douglas Luiz, people. We all wanted Omar Marmoush. Apparently, he wants to join Manchester City immediately. He has a verbal agreement. Apparently, Frankfurt are demanding 80 million euros. So it does feel like City will get that one over the line. We've been linked with a Segunda Division winger, plays for Deportivo La Coruña, Jeremy Hernandez, who is a Spain under-21s international. The 22-year-old allegedly has caught the eye of Arsenal. He's got 7 goals and 3 assists in 17 games. He's got a release clause worth 16.7 million, people. We'll have to see. He plays on the left-hand side, has 10 goal contributions. Apparently, he has an impressive 7.2 joules per game, 3.7 successful dribbles. He has made 4.9 recoveries. So there's something to work with. It's not the blockbuster signing I want, but if you're not going to get guys that are levels right now, find guys with scope. I don't know if he is. This is probably one. I promise you, people, we're going to start getting those scouting videos out for you lot, because I know a lot of you like when I do that, and I appreciate all of you lot who fuck with all of the content. So yeah, we've been linked with him. Nottingham Forest looked set to get Douglas Luiz. Apparently he's on the radar. Fulham, Manchester City, and United. To be fair, he'd be great for United. City need midfielders. Forest, the Edu and the Brazil links. What happened to that Danilo guy that was there? Frankfurt are aware Mamouche wants to go to City permanently. He's a baller, man. I thought he'd go Liverpool because of the Salah link. I thought Salah would have sweetened him up. We have been linked with Marcus Rashford. Sky Italy, who, bearing in mind, AC Milan seem like the ones that were the front runners for him. It seems that Arsenal have made a phone call to United for Marcus Rashford. The club value him at 25 million euros. I mean, boy, is what it is. Ben White is set to make his return from injury later this month. Congratulations to him and his missus. His missus is pregnant, doing what he's doing there. Apparently, Jorginho is offered to Palmeiras and is interested in leaving Arsenal before the end of his contract. Hey, Mazzolini. And yeah, we've gone over the Mika Bereth stuff. So we'll have to look at that with a fine eye. People, I'm not going to lie, I got a big favor to ask you lot, man. Those of you that watch me or have Spotify, follow on Spotify. My old account is gone. So we have to build up that platform again. So I'd appreciate that. Yeah, Apple Music and all that stuff as well. Sunday, obviously, we're going to be watching Arsenal Man United. Hopefully, it doesn't end in tears. And big up Rico Squeeze, man. We previewed Arsenal versus United. So that's going to come out at 4:15, people. So yeah. Is there anything else Arsenal related? Should we see? We've gone over that. What's this? Let's see, man. My patience is wearing thin for this West, man. What's this? Romano spoken about Isak. There's nothing you can tell me. Like, everyone just adding their own little sense and remixing the same old thing. We know we ain't getting him in January. We know we're not getting him in the summer. We know he ain't got the bread for this. What's this? Ramsdale could make a move to another Premier League club. I bet it's Newcastle. It makes sense. The Bradker's cutting. I don't know what's going on with Nick Pope. Maybe he's got an injury, but it just, yeah, this stuff's predictable. I don't know if Newcastle should be signing Ram. In fact, no, sign Ramsdale, bro, because we could smoke him when we're played. Apparently, he's on Newcastle's shopping list. I mean, big him up. Newcastle's a wonderful club, and I think the fans will fall in love with Ramsdale for all his faults. He does, you know, I did like that about Ramsdale. What's Romano said about Isak, man? There are many links on Isak and Arsenal because he's one of the players they've liked for a long time already before this excellent season he's having. Arteta people at Arsenal recruitment always had Isak high on their preferences, but he was simply not available last summer. So you think he's available this summer? It was impossible to convince Newcastle. They were never accepting the reported 80 to 90 million euro fee. So that's it. What's this? Pardon me. What's this? According to reports, Arsenal have already identified their dream replacement for head coach Mikel Arteta. Inzaghi, bring him or Gasperini. I'm on that if Arteta's cutting, but you just gave man new deal. They're not going to pay him out that compensation package, especially if they believe in him that much. It's worse, man. It's absolutely worse. I don't want to hear none of that, man. It's just going to make me mad. Anyways, man, let me see what you lot are saying. Every squad under KSC has always a fatal flaw that will never be corrected in the market. Wenger size, Emery size, now Arteta size. Facts. Do you rate my mush? I fuck with him. Wouldn't be against Osman. Man said you have more chance of getting Wilson. We do, man. DG, we had the chance to get Isak back in 2022. It's true. We did try to get Vlahovic. That didn't work. We got Jesus. Isak was there. For me, I don't begrudge. You should have got him then. But when it's become clear where we are now, cool, you got Gabriel Jesus. He's not levels. Fix it. If we sign a goalkeeper and it doesn't work, sign the next one, what we've seen before. You know, what's worked in 2022 might not work in 2025. It might not work. Time goes quick, you know. Time goes quick. I used to have cane rolls. Now I have a skin fade. Not really. I need to go to the barbers, but you get it. Kelly Rowland, Champions League. It's clear Arsenal require added attacking depth this window. However, poor decisions in the past could prevent them from buying the talent needed to elevate performances this season. Eloquently put. There you have it. Chris Wood, I'm not against it. Pause. The club told us that Kvaratskhelia isn't good enough for Arsenal. Can we stop talking about everything and just drill down on that? To be fair, I haven't seen the club come out and say anything. Sesko don't believe in his suave. He might not believe in his suave, but if you're sitting there like and Arteta's telling you to join Arsenal, you're on joining Arsenal. He's like, but you might not play. Hey, fam, you might not play ahead of Kai Havertz, bro. Look off the phone. I don't want to hear that. I think he would have been. I do think at best the club wanted a kind of secondary done in the summer that can challenge Kai, can potentially start ahead of him, but isn't necessarily going to disrupt that. Idiot thing. What other big clubs do is if you've spent money in the wrong way and they want to add a big player, they sell a fan favorite. Saliba, Rice, and Saka only untouchables. Everyone else could be sold. But it is what it is, man. Man said brown envelopes. Where have I said anything? I'm with you, man. Like, if I got brown envelopes, you'd see me talking nonsense, man. You can say Arteta and Kroenke's out. I never said Arsenal don't have money. I said we're going around in circles. But cool, get that off your chest, man. I don't know where you're going at that. Do I think Arsenal have finances? Yeah, but I understand we have to go with that tightrope. But that's no excuse. I've been quite critical. Fair enough, though, man. Make sure you hit the like button if you're going to chat shit at the very least, man. Bet my life on Havertz shoulder getting it on target. Boy, it's an idiot thing. People talk about Havertz, but the Rice sign is just the same. He had a good year last year, but this year, all of a sudden, Partey's our best centre mid. Crazy. Havertz and Rice both not good enough. I fuck with Rice, man. We don't have real ambition. Exactly that stuff made me sigh. Sesko, surely you should back yourself. Why are you scared of Havertz? I hear it on one hand, like, you should back yourself. You should believe I'm going to come take his spot. But then, if you're just trying to get games and develop and your Arteta is making, like, sounding like Kai's going to be the guy, it don't make no sense. It don't. We raised the standards, bruv. Much love. Do you hate me or like me or what? Highbury's local badger, like, brother, are you fucking with the channel or not? Because 1 minute it's love and then it's hate. Just smash the like button, man. Oh, I'm to some boy. Anyways, give up on this season if we don't do any business this month. For me, I'm quite stubborn and hard-headed. I can't give up. I can be as pessimistic as I want because I treat football or I don't ask anything from Arsenal that I don't demand in my own life, you know. I don't care how many, like, if I have a goal and a dream, I don't necessarily care about how unrealistic it is, how tough it is, how issues it is. We're going to go. I always look at life. If you're backed up against a wall, are you going to curl into a ball like a little pussycat or are you going to fight back? Would you rather die on your feet or live on your knees? Fuck the EKA's thing, man. I'm not on it. Marquinhos, we should have kept Nketiah. Like I said, the club's making me think mad thoughts. Rashford ain't that bad, you know. Marquinhos, what's going on there? Recall Fabio Vieira. I'm losing the plot, man. I'm losing it. Where next summer, it's always next season, and fans fall for this. Don't forget last season when we went, or the season before, when we went out of the League Cup, there were some of these journalists and positive toxic twats that were saying, oh, I'm happy we've gone out of the League Cup and the FA Cup because you look at the fixture schedule list, we've got more time to rest. What kind of BS? These are things that don't make no sense, but the more you say BS, the more it's rationalized. And we all know football is no different from society. People think like herds. I always say on my platform, I don't tell you what to think, just think. I don't give a flying monkeys if you agree or disagree with me. I love to talk football with you lot. People don't think. The majority of people don't think. So when you've got these journalists with great platforms talking, why people fall for this BS? People choose what they want. For every positive statistic around this club, there's also concerns. For me, there's a good base. It's just about elevating. We're not elevating, so we're stagnating. And we're going to keep having these conversations. Generally, I feel like a broken record. Fabrizio said only one club at this moment are holding talks. So there you have it. It is what it is, man. They loaned Philogene to PSG. Yeah, they fumbled the bag with that one. Impressed by Ato's work. Again, I can't tell you what Ato's done. I don't know what he's done because we ain't signed no one. We ain't the contracts. But like, you need to sort out Saka and Saliba's deals. You need to do something with Trossard, whether you want to keep him. I'm sure the club already have a decision or have made a decision on Partey, on Jorginho. So if they're both going, draw up the targets, whether that's getting one in January and doing the rest in the summer. I don't know what Jason Ato's done. I don't know. I would love. This is one where you wish you was a fly on the wall at London Coley. I don't know what. Like, I don't know where that's come from. What is impressive? And I'm not dissing him. I'll never shit on a man. Pause. Everybody needs a chance in it. The greatest thing you can do in life is believe in someone. But once you see that talk, that tells me we're doing what we're doing. Even if you bring in Rosicky, I'm sure Rosicky's done good work. But to me, as a naive fan, that just looks like we're just getting the boys in. Jason Ito, you look like you're just, promotion. We've probably tried to get the Camposes and the Alabis. That ain't banged. So we're going to promote because last week it was the club don't think he's experienced enough. And for me, I think we need somebody that's experienced in that sporting director role. Someone that can pull rabbits out the hat. Okay, Isak's too expensive. Sesko don't want to join. Let me call this agent. Let me talk to this scout. I can boom, boom, boom. This is happening. Okay, we're in January. We've got money, but we want to do the PSR thing. We can make something happen. And also, that as much as I want that man has to be promoted to have some clout. Because let's be real. For all of Edu's faults, I genuinely think Arteta's voice was louder than, not even louder than his, but his thing was taking in more pause than Edu. So it's become a cult. And don't get it twisted. I like Arteta. I'm not saying to sack him or not sack him. I'm not here for that talk at this moment in time. But for every person that is critical on Arteta, there's a cult-like following at games. How dare you say that about Arteta? I think I'm lying. Go ask Matchday fans. I believe it should be balanced. If you praise a man, praise him. If you do shaky things, ask questions. Because you can't have it both ways. You can't sit here and say, Arteta is this great manager, he's this, he's that, and not hold a man to those same standards. You can't always blame the cronkies. You can't always blame the players. You can't always blame sporting directors. And I'd say the one thing with Edu fucking off now, pardon my language, is now we're going to see who's done, like, work on for this thing. City want Douglas Luiz on loan option to buy back. Boy, always shopping in Poundland. Not even buying the right things in Poundland. Pretending we're skint. Is what it is, man. Thank God I don't feel the Cronkies have standards. Honey Badger, God bless you, Deluded. You're weirding me out, my guy. 1 minute you're hating on the guy and then you're saluting. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Sunday better keep that chain tucked in. Big up Zims. Make sure you're following him on Twitch. Make sure you're back in your chat, because you see if you lose, boy. What happened the last time Amrin came around here? I said, get your Rolex insured. I said, don't come to the dance. There's hungry people out there. It's cost of living. You've got about 30K on your wrist. Allow it, man. Your manager's just on his tiptoes every week. One little draw against Liverpool and you're wassing it. God, please, man. Big up United as a club, but they're fans, man. Empty barrels make the most noise. All they do is talk. I get it, because you can't even see your team without accepting cookies when you look at the league table. But for a team in 14th, just bear loud, bear war stories. You lot are the former kingpins, now crackheads outside of the bookies. Does this club ever do anything that isn't predictable? Only shit stuff. Leon Delat I wouldn't be against it, man. It's jarring, man. Arsenal fans who come to the stadium as season ticket holders do not realise what Kroenke did to this club. They do, man. But I guess football's one of the best businesses because we scream, shout, shake it all about, say we're done. I'm still making videos and talking with you lot. Big up you lot, and I appreciate it, but you lot are still tuning in. We're still going to watch games. People are still going to go to games. As much as, you could say, fans have a voice, protest, do this and that. We all know for every Arsenal fan, let's just focus on season ticket holders. For every season ticket holder that doesn't go to a game, there's millions of people that are going to fight for that shirt. And look at the atmosphere at the Emirates. Arsenal, even going back to Highbury, we had better atmosphere at Highbury, but we've never been the loudest fans. Let's have it right. Like, we've never had that. Any away fans, whether it's Newcastle, who are a bit noisy and that, they're crazy. Big up them. I wish we was like that, or any foreign fans that rock up when we was in the Europa League or in the Champs. their little small, little shitty away section in the Emirates, they crowd out everyone. And the one time they was getting atmosphere at the club with all them, is it Asperton Army or whatever? They, you know, as some would say it's cringy, but they were trying to get the atmosphere going and make this thing what it needs to be. Their allocations getting cut. It's a cult, man. That's the only reason Emre got sacked. Yeah, there was, bearing in mind, for every, you know, every report that Emre is going to get sacked, people still had faith. The reason Emre got sacked, we know, against Frankfurt, there was no bums on seats. That's the only time, man, people are acting. Love the club. There's so much to be positive about, but then the negatives, and they're always going to hold us back, and it's just going to keep being the same system on loop. I like Duran, but I'm not even going to do it to myself, man. Do Arsenal have any money left after the money they wasted on signings? Better find it. Better find it. Better find it. Because in the summer, whether we agree or not, we're probably going to spend 100 million quid or in and around. I'm not saying on one player, but that you found peas. Go look in your coat hangers and your jackets and whatnot. It's long now, man. DG thoughts on Bakayoko from PSV, bring him. Lee Kang in, not really for that, but beggars can't be choosers. But PSG don't want to let him go, so it's a non-story. I wouldn't mind Bacola at all, man. If Arsenal bought 2 attackers this window, would you be satisfied? I would, but we're not bringing it, which is wishful thinking to bring in 1, let alone 2. I do think we'll bring someone in, whether that player is who we want, whether they're a difference maker, whether they're good. I do think there'll be a body. I don't necessarily 100% believe that, but like, you know, we've seen Arsenal when it's been darker not act in the market, but I'm of the belief, like, if you lot can see what I see, just the number of bodies, surely you act in this market. Surely, like, it's not sustainable what we're doing. Liverpool collapse. Arsenal need to be ready to pounce, never give up. But are we? Because it's all fun and games talking about Liverpool dropping points and people doing spreadsheets and all Liverpool are in all the comps and that. When they slip points, slip up, need to make sure Arsenal, whatever, because our margin for error is less than Liverpool's. Imagine if City go and win the league. Rashford and Sterling are the definition of desperation moves from the club who is strapped for cash. Always smash the likes. Love you, deluded. No, did he? All right, cool, man. Cool, man. You're confusing me. Big up yourself. I find myself missing Pepe Nuno. Bro, mad thoughts. I'm not going to lie. Pepe, I can't lie. Nothing will make me miss Tavares. I'll be real. God forgive me. I was thinking, yo, Lokonga. This is crazy. The club's killing me, man. It's making me think mad things. DG, let's make a scenario. Your Arsenal DOF, you have £50 million budget, also option to sell players. What would you do in this window? Every player has a price tag. So you could argue, but I don't think I'd be selling 50 million. I'm going Leon and getting Ryan Cherky, man. And I'm at least asking questions about things. United see Rashford 50, 60 mil. Let's be real. Arsenal will not be making any signings unless we lose to United, and a loan signing will be done to appease the fans' outcry. We've seen this before. I find it ridiculous that Arsenal fans didn't want Madueke in the summer because he wasn't Arsenal's level. I'm not the biggest fan of Madueke, but I can't sit here and say that, yo, you couldn't do a thing here. Smash the like button, folks. Support the movement. Rashford's PR is so down right now. I feel like people forget that he's a moments player. Something from nothing, and it's hard to come by. We do need to show ambition, but Arsenal moves slow. Sell Zinchenko, sign David and sell Jesus and Havertz. We're not selling no Havertz, though, are we? Like, he's on big P's. He's key to the team. It's not happening. Most Arsenal fans actually want Arteta out, but are scared to speak up. You say that, bro. There's a lot of people that are not in. There's a lot of people, I think, negative and positive. Some people, there's people that, and I'm not talking for the content creators or the journalists or the people that look at things with balance and they want the guy out, or they feel a bit more negative, and likewise considering everything, and they're a bit more optimistic. But there's a lot of people that are loyal to their agendas. They're not loyal to the football club. Some people would rather see Arteta crashing, but like Arteta could be the guy for us in theory in this scenario. People don't want that because they didn't believe in the guy. And there's some people that could evidently see there's issues with Arteta, but they're down for the guy so much that they'd rather see the club crash and burn and pretend everything is all right. And these same people don't hold Arteta to the high standards he sets of himself. And they don't realize their hypocritical ways. Because if you rate him so highly, he needs to be held in high standards. We all rate Bukayo Saka. If Saka played in a final or whatever, no, sorry, not even final. Saka played in a Premier League game and plays shit, you're going to ask questions. Likewise, if he plays good, praise. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. And for the toxic positive Arteta, like, I'm not. There's nothing wrong with being Arteta in or out, but I'm talking the ones that love Arteta. They always act like they know football and understand football a lot more than us, and they're just entitled twats. They're all liars, and half of these people they're either in bed with the club. They got to make sure they get media passes. You know, there's a lot of people in these positions that talk the realness, but people got to play the game. A lot of people are dishonest, man. Really, honesty don't sell. Unpopular, but we might not make the top 4 with the current squad, boy. If you don't make the top 4, I'll tell you to do the right thing and hand in the resignation. Yeah, Highbury used to bounce. Highbury's atmosphere was dramatically better, but it weren't a madness. It's jarring, man. Not gonna lie, I'm concerned about the United game. Arteta's tactics must be on point, and the players need to step up. Hopefully, that Newcastle loss puts fire in them. The Arsenal are not winning any major honours under Arteta DG2. You know, I can't say that word and stuck in his own ways. Doesn't like attacking players with attitude. He needs to walk or get sacked. Peace. We don't need a right winger. This January, we got Robbie Law. DJ, have you done a stream where you pretend to be a DOF to show what can be done, whether we got peas or not? No, I haven't, you know. DJ, have you seen the price of the Arsenal jacket? It's a cold thing. The clothes are nice, but they're gonna cost you an arm and a leg. But this is why football's crazy. Look at and all countries, and big up you lot around the world, yeah. But like, I can't speak for everything. I would say globally there's a crisis. The jobs market is rubbish. The power, the power of the pound and the dollar is swindling. If the money you've got has less, it's not gonna go far. Inflation rates, you know. Inflation in food prices are going up. Wages are stagnant. If you're earning less and things cost more, there's issues. That's why less people are going on holiday. That's why the last 2 Christmases, even though at the end of a year you see everybody spending a lot of money, if you actually look, people are spending less. That's why you're actually seeing footfall. If you know what that is, that's literally just going into stores, right? And like, if just walking into stores, that's falling. But with all of this being said, football is illogical in the sense that we love it. All of us, you lot, you do your 9 to 5. Some of you are in jobs you hate. Because you know, from Monday to Friday, on Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to watch my team, whether that be Arsenal or elsewhere. You're going to pay your season ticket. For some of you, that's a 1,000 odd quid. Or you're going to find match day tickets, which can go from 30 to 100 odd quid, depending on the means you get that. And that's assuming it's one person. If you've got a family, if you're bringing your 2 daughters or your 2 sons, you can see the price. You're going to buy a program, which is a £5. You're going to buy yourself and your kids merchandise, which is an arm and a leg. You know, you're going to buy food. Whether you're going to go to Nando's, which isn't far from the game, or you're going to buy, which I don't like to do, in the stadium, you're going to cost an arm and a leg, and people are still going to do it. And even going back to the toxic positives, there's some people that like Arteta, and I'm not talking like him from a footballer. They like him. They like him more than they like their girlfriends. They like him. I keep saying this, pause. Mikel Arteta, if all else fails and you don't want to do this football thing, I promise you need to go start OnlyFans, because there's so many people within this fan base that will subscribe to you. It's weird. It's weird. It's proper weird. It's proper weird. It's so weird. Big up G1. No Saka in the North London derby. Things can get like, it can get dark. United don't like us. Spurs don't like us. They do this little, I call it Spurs Chester United. They do the link up. It can get dark. It could get dark. So I don't want to see Arteta and these players feel sorry for themselves. We all know the concerns. Now you need to stand up. I feel like Rashford is using clubs to try and get back into the England squad. Once he gets in, he'll say he wants to stay at United. He could, but it just seems like I do think United are doing under Amorim what we was doing with Aubameyang, a bit different. But Amorim feels like the first United manager that, okay, I'm not fucking with Rashford, and people above are backing me. And it seems like, to a degree, I'd imagine Rashford is one of the most highest shirt sellers at United, whether he's a good player or not. It is what it is. Like, it felt like Amorim's taking. Obviously, Amorim is not an idiot. He had a bit like when Arteta or any new manager walks in. He's obviously been briefed about Rashford and the cliques in the team and all of these kind of things. But I think he said, you know what, cool. I've got my thoughts that I've been told about you. Let me talk to you as a man. Let me see you in training. And it felt like after 2 training sessions, he said, yeah, you're not with it. And you're meant to be Mr. Man United. You're 27. You're meant to be key to this rebuild. And man, want him at Arsenal. Fair play, man. By the end of the day, Nico Caroli out, it's always going to involve a certain risk, whether or not they can transfer their waviness to the PL. It's true, but everything's a risk, man. Everything's a risk, man. Unless we cancel Neto or Sterling's loans, we can't get Rashford on loan. Hit the like button, people. Let's get to 100 likes as soon as possible. We are violating. Come on, man. Smash the likes. We need a Gabby Martinelli upgrade. Do you have any suggestions? I'm at the point I'm finished with that now, man. No. Just bring in someone, put him on the bench. Bro, we're not signing anyone. It's clear. It's clear. Keep your hopes down. Save yourself from heartbreak and bad mental. I'm glad I managed to catch another live. Big up DG, hearing this carried on going anywhere, but here is dark. Dark, bro. I appreciate you being tuned in. Who are the 18% who said no to the signing of Carroll? Because he's not the profile. It's not the profile. Edwin Arteta's appointment is similar to bringing in Zinni and Jesus. Good at the time, but should we be moving them on? What do you guys think? I'm not quite at the stage of, picket fence, getting rid of like pitchforks for Mikel Arteta. I think there's reasons to keep him, but I think there's evident reasons of concerns. And for me, it's one love for the rebuild. All that stuff, great. The last 2 years, it's about getting over the line, and you haven't. So if the club have a solution, whether it works or not, where they've got a next manager lined up, which we don't operate like that. We've got a next manager lined up. Arteta, do your thing to the end of the season. You're going to go. I'm not going to shed no tears for Arteta. Because right now, the only one that benefits from this is Mikel Arteta. He's a baby as a manager. And I mean that in a respectful way. He's been managing for 5 years and he's taken a massive job in Arsenal. And there's been, I think you get demonetized from YouTube if you actually say this. But I'll say the C word, lockdown. Yeah, you've done that. There's so much things that you can apply in your managerial career. But this is meant to be a two-way street. It's not an Arteta FC thing, because at worst, he's going to F off, go somewhere, whether he's a good manager or not, go and win trophies elsewhere. I only care about if you do it at Arsenal. And that's a very valid point that you just said. He went to a party before a game and they told Amrim after, so Amrim got vexed and dropped him apparently. Well, then Rashford doing idiot stuff. I think Arteta will win trophies, but not our club. We need a world-class manager, given that our ownership is not good enough and strong enough to tell him when it's needed. We're just not a serious club. It's clear now. I no longer blame Arteta for anything. When Wenger left, I wanted someone better, an elite Champions League winning manager like Ancelotti, who's available back then. Rijkaard, Flick. How is Emre/Arteta better than Wenger? Fans let their attraction for Arteta get in the way of being objective. There's no objectiveness in Arsenal content or Arsenal fans. It's either shit or good, vested in agendas, PR, getting retweets, getting views, lying. But the good thing about life, you can't lie to everyone. You can lie to people some of the time. You can't lie to them all the time. Do you think we have more chance of the Champions League or the Prem? Neither, but I'd say the Prem. Nah, Champions League is about moments. I don't think we've got enough moments in us. Honestly, don't think we'll sign anyone this Jan. If we do, it will be some random BS loan. Liverpool don't really need Cava, but they're in for him. Top club mentality. Go and give Xavi Alonso a call and get him before anyone else does. You know he's going Madrid, but I'm on that. I would sack Mikel Arteta for Xavi Alonso. I'd do that today. That's one I would. Because I must admit, I am liking these new age kind of managers, if I'm honest with you. Bring Xhaka back now. I'm joking. Don't cancel me, people. But on that note, though, man, I'm going to go get some quick lunch. I'm sure I'm going to be on Dan Potts' channel at 1 p.m. unless something's gone wrong there. You lot's differences of opinions, you lot's support across Twitch and YouTube. It's always welcome. If you still want more of a fix from me, again, check out the live stream I did yesterday. Obviously, over the weekend, we'll be watching Arsenal Man United. What other content? 4 p.m. 4:15 p.m. I got Arsenal preview coming out. So yeah, there's always bits and pieces, man. Don't forget to follow on Spotify and Apple Music and all of that. Help me build back up them platforms. You lot stay safe, stay blessed. Arteta, I know a free agent still. I've never seen Martinelli do this off the left.
Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.